Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be doing a live stream here. You can see YouTube has changed the thing here you see on my screen here. So I did not know about just till now. Hopefully stream is healthy. I'm going to try to get things prepared here real quick before we start here. So what I'm going to do, go over here to YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the live stream so my Twitter followers know about this live stream. So we copied it. Live on YouTube. Okay, so my Twitter followers know. So welcome to anybody that's gonna be joining the live stream here. Want to get a chat? Try to get everything set up here. Wherever I start the live stream, then I can get the code and everything. Okay. Here, let's just set my phone right over here. Against that, doesn't look like it's gonna work. Alright, should be good to go. Welcome to anyone that's going to be joined a live stream here. So let's go ahead and begin of what's going on right now with Laura. And if you guys do have any questions throughout the live stream, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. Feel free to do so. I will answer everybody's questions if you got any from for Laura. So let's go ahead and get started with the National Hurricane Center with Hurricane Laura. I believe it's right now 80 miles per hour. It is indeed a hurricane. We do have a recon plane in there right now. The Hurricane Hunters is right now observing. It did have a first flyby, which I'll show you guys that in a moment. But as of back at 4 o'clock uh, earlier, about 4 hours ago, it was 80 miles per hour with it, and we do expect this to rapidly intensify. And speaking of rapidly intensifying here, we actually got an eye forming with this storm. You can see here we're getting convection starting to form. I mean, tons of convection on the western side of this here. So really, we're about to have convection near the entire circulation here. You can see your eye is really starting to form right in here. So it's looking to be maybe a large eye in there as well. So this is definitely good stuff to keep an eye on. Definitely a strengthening storm. But also, another way indicating if the storm is strengthening or intensifying is lightning, which on this GIF here, and this was about close to half an hour ago. And you can see we're getting lightning where we're starting to have a lot of convection really starting to blow up on the western side. That's where we're getting lightning. And lightning is a sign of intensification with Laura, so it's definitely intensifying, likely stronger than 80 miles per hour at this point here. And like I said, we do have a recon plane in there. Right now, it's on the far southeast side here, moving north on 87 degrees west. It's actually starting to turn around here. We're actually starting to get some strong winds on the northeast side. Recon plane is right up here in between 26 degrees north and 26.5 degrees north, and it's just past degrees north and 26.5 degrees north, and it's just past uh, I'll say 26.3 degrees north and 87.5 degrees west is their current position right now. They're about to turn around and go through the storm again. You can see here they did find a pressure of 984 millibars. Now currently your circulation is here. They did find knots of a little bit over 65 knots. That's your purple shade. And when you look over here, you even see probably a peak of 65 knots. If you put that to miles per hour, that's about 75 miles an hour. So that is a hurricane indeed. of what the recon point is getting, but not quite as strong of like it was earlier this morning. But I'm sure in the second pass here, it's probably going to find winds a little stronger and maybe pressure maybe a little bit lower. But we're going to see what's going to happen from the recon plane. I think it will go through the center in probably in about 15 to 20 minutes, probably. So this is definitely something we'll be watching here. Um, so San Sino O'Brien, welcome to the stream. Now up to 85 millibars. So yeah, it is definitely dropping in millibars, and it is gaining strength. 85. It's not in knots or in miles per hour. I'm gonna guess that it's in miles per hour. But the storm is gaining intensity as we do speak here, especially with this infrared satellite imagery. Got a lot of convection on the west side. Started to come around nearly the entire circulation of the storm, so it's definitely intensifying quite a bit. Which I did make a couple forecasts, but let's first take a look back into uh, the hurricane center here. And okay, seems I got disconnected from my phone here, probably due to bad internet connection. Oh, we're still good. I want to double check here. Morning stream, it's a little bit lower. My part, it's alright. You don't have to be sorry on it. Yeah, I'm starting to have technical difficulties on my phone here. Hopefully the stream is starting to go well for everybody else. I'm hoping so. Let's try it to. I started to form on the west central side. Yes, it is indeed. So let's go back to the National Hurricane Center here. As you can see here, they are expecting to become a major hurricane. They're right now forecast 115 miles per hour. Don't be surprised if that number goes higher. We're getting models that's getting into the low end category 4 strength uh, territory at this time here. So, and I honestly there is a chance for this becoming a low end category 4. I'll say it's definitely possible. What is going on here with my live stream? Ugh. It may be me on internet. I'm 90% sure. Okay. Looks like we're back online here on my phone. Try to place it. Sorry guys for technical difficulties. Here we go. Yeah, Euro's forecasting a Texas landfall with pressure in a Cat 4 station. Yeah, it is. But we are starting to get a better agreement in the models here. I'm going to guess it's going to make landfall probably somewhere around the Texas and Louisiana state line region. Somewhere around here, like the Hurricane Center has it. Now, keep in mind, this is the cone of uncertainty here. This is where the center storm could go. It could go near around Lake Charles, or it could go into Houston and Galveston, where they are have mandatory evacuations in those areas. And there, which is definitely how I recommend it. If any local officials said if you need to, evacuate, evacuate, because this can be a very serious storm. Even though if you don't get hit by the center storm, you'll still get impacts here. You can still get storm surge, a lot of rain, gusty winds, and all that stuff there as well. Even when it gets to closer to Arkansas, it's still forecasted to be a Category 1 hurricane, at least a low-end hurricane there. Sustained winds 75 miles per hour, and this is going to be looking to be potentially a devastating situation here for Texas and Louisiana. Definitely has a chance of doing quite a bit of damage here. And yeah, one of my main concerns is going to be the storm surge. This is the forecast for the National Hurricane Center here. They do have anywhere from Sea Rim State Park to Intracoastal City, where they're predicting 9 to 13 feet. Now, if we do get, if we go to Category 4 strength, I'll say we'll likely get above 10 feet of storm surge. So it's going to be not really good. Around Galveston, places like that could be 3 to 5 feet. Anywhere from Port Boulevard to Seagram State Park, 6 to 9 feet. Galveston Bay, 3 to 5 feet. And 3 to 5 feet is definitely a significant situation there. Vernon Bay, 7 to 11 feet. That's pretty significant, but really, if you're going to get storm surge really above really 5 feet, you're that's kind of a dangerous situation to be in. And I've seen from one Reed Timmer's videos here talking about for some of these islands here around the Galveston area, like on a peninsula, that there's only one road to get out, and it's actually near sea level here. So if you're going to stay in that area, you're going to be stuck in there, and that's definitely not a good place to be in. So if you're going to be anywhere from the coast, from like Freeport all the way to even around New Orleans, be prepared here for any impacts. Now, for areas that definitely need to watch for, potential evacuations will be anywhere from like Galveston to intra-coastal city, or even Vernon Bay. It's where I'll definitely say in those regions in there, definitely will recommend evacuating and definitely getting prepared from the storm here. So let's take another big threat is going to be the rainfall here. You can see here, there's definitely one little spot in Louisiana could see 10 to 15 inches. Now, I'll say it's going to be probably up to 11 inches of rain because this is just a small red area in there. It's also, you're on the very edge of it, so probably at least 10 inches of rain in that region there. But in orange, you can get anywhere from 6 to 10 inches, which could be pretty bad for Arkansas there. Actually, a good chunk of Arkansas could see 6 to 10 inches of rain. Even 4 to 6 inches of rain is almost too much rain. And I know even at my house, Kentucky do need some rain, and 2 to 4 inches will be pretty helpful as well. Even in places in West Virginia, could see some flooding, but anywhere like across Kentucky, West Virginia, Arkansas, Western Tennessee, Eastern Texas, and Western Louisiana definitely has a chance for some flash flooding and for some of those regions. Here's the Weather Prediction Center with the excessive rainfall outlook, at least for flash flooding. You can see we do have a moderate risk area anywhere from like eastern Texas, western Louisiana, up into central Arkansas. There, really, most of Arkansas can see a lot of rain in those regions in there. So definitely something we're going to keep an eye on. Where do you think the hurricane will lean based on the different models? I think it's going to lean more towards kind of around the Texas-Louisiana state line because that's kind of averaging things out, especially when we look into the hurricane models. Right in here, they've been doing a really good job on the past, few tropical systems. They've been doing a really good job on the tracks. They've been doing a terrible job with intensity, but they've been doing a really good job with the tracks. And you can see where they bring in what I'm talking about here, Texas and Louisiana state line there. And that's where I'm predicting landfall could be in that region there. Although for Houston, it's still possible there, but I think the better chance for landfall will be somewhere in kind of around the Texas and Louisiana state line there. You can also see a pretty good agreement taking it through Arkansas and then eventually down into east, a little bit more eastward through Kentucky, West Virginia to Virginia, then eventually getting back into the Atlantic here, and that's where it could intensify again to maybe a tropical storm, and that's what the National Hurricane Center is actually forecasting here. Which, if you take a look to wind speed probabilities, it seems like they downgrade the probability for tropical storm winds. It was a There was a 20 to 30% chance. It seems like they downgraded that, but again, the cone may be small, but you can see really you have a pretty decent chance of tropical storm winds and really above 50%. It's a pretty decent chance of getting tropical storm winds. That's literally anywhere from New Orleans to I don't know what area that would be, just southwest of Houston there, which is a pretty large area that can see some tropical storm winds. And about as far north as Central Arkansas there as well. Here's their hurricane wind speed probability. Again, they're having the highest percentage, at least for landfall, things like they're predicting to be at the Louisiana Texas state line with a 50 to 60% chance. And out in the Gulf there, they got an 80 to 90% chance as well. So here, we'll take a look at the arrival times here. Now this is for tropical storm force winds. You can see your current circulations there. Seems like it's going to make landfall probably during the day on Wednesday, but this is the actually the earliest here. But the most likely timing looks to be Wednesday at 8 o'clock. No, this is actually not it here. This is for likely time of tropical storm force winds, 8 o'clock on Wednesday. So that's when you can see the effects for tropical storm winds, and that's when the storm will eventually get there. It would probably be very weak, remain low after passing mid-Atlantic. Yeah, probably will be. Let's actually move on to my forecast here that I've made. And as you can see here, I haven't updated this in a few hours. I think I created this back at 3 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock back in the mid-afternoon. So kind of old here. Haven't updated it yet, but this is my current forecast right now. It's actually 80 miles per hour, not 75. That really tells you how old this is. Your current location will be somewhere at around here. Tuesday, 8 o'clock here, Category 1, 85 miles per hour, which I'm sure that's probably about right. Then, starting to really intensify, Category 2, 100 miles an hour at Wednesday, 8 a.m. Then Category 3 at Wednesday at 8 p.m., 120 miles per hour. Then making landfall Thursday, probably around midnight and in Central Time. These are all, I think I put these at Eastern Time zone. I know that Texas Louisiana is in Central Time, so these are in Eastern Time right here. So if you're in the Central Time zone, just take these back an hour, and that'll be your timing. So really, at midnight here, probably around that time, that's when it'll make landfall. And it's actually not Category 3. That's actually a Category 4 hurricane with 130 mile per hour winds. Then Thursday, 8 a.m., Category 2 with 100 mile per hour winds, and eventually get into Louisiana. In Arkansas, tropical storm with 70 mile per hour winds. Still a tropical storm in northeastern Arkansas with 40, then eventually dying down into a tropical depression by Friday 8 a.m. into southern Illinois and western Kentucky and Tennessee, and eventually getting into the mountains by Saturday morning here, 30 miles per hour, which I'll likely be downgrading these here as well very soon here. But that's my forecast for right now, not the National Hurricane Center. You'll get the most valuable information from the National Hurricane Center. Also made a rainfall outlook, same way. It's old. Made it back in earlier today, but you can see where I'm predicting some of the highest rainfall amounts, 8 to probably maybe about a foot of rain there, anywhere from really around landfall here, like Lake Charles, Belmont, all the way up to Shreveport. Kind of overdoing it. I may back that off. 5 to 8 inches, which I actually think about expanding this area all the way into nearby Paducah here, where we're going to have that turn there. Some of those storms can stick around a little bit longer, so I'm thinking about expanding that 5 to 8 inches to Paducah, Kentucky here. So that will include northeastern Arkansas, southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, far northwestern Tennessee, and southwestern Kentucky there. Then at the 3 to 5 inch range, expanding all the way into central Kentucky there, then eventually dying down to 2 to 3 inches to the Atlantic East Coast there. Although some of these areas in these regions here could see either lower or isolated higher amounts, but this is kind of an average here. Probably not everybody will see these amounts of rain. Your dark rain is 1 to 2 inches there as well. So, yeah, on that. Here's the Weather Prediction Center's outlook here. Kind of similar to what I talk about there on that turn there. They're actually some areas may be able to see up to 9 inches of rain. At least that's what the prediction is across portions of Arkansas. That's a lot of rain there. But you can see here, kind of, if my forecast was updated, it'll probably match pretty well the National Hurricane Center's forecast. And I do agree with their forecast here. But really, anybody that could see up a little over 5 inches rain. That's a little bit too much rain, especially when you get to the 9 inch range. That's where you could potentially likely see some flash flooding into some of those areas there. So definitely need to watch for some potential flash flooding. Definitely need to watch for some potential flash flooding to for some of those regions in there. Let's not forget about the tornado threat. This is day one here. Got an enhanced risk across really portions of the mid-Atlantic East Coast. Here's day two. You got a large slight risk area across most of Louisiana and far southeastern Texas. Primary threat will be a couple tornadoes. There could be some damaging winds, but hail it's not going to be around. Move on to day three, which I do expect this to get upgraded to slight risk western Mississippi and central and southern Arkansas there. One thing to note is you got a large slight risk anywhere from the Central Plains to the Northeast East Coast. That's about 1,500 miles long. So, and I haven't really looked too much into that yet, so I actually don't know what's going on there. Another thing to note is day 4 and 5, you do have risks for severe weather as well in same regions in there as well. So definitely something to pay attention for the tornado threats um, as well. Let's take a look at the European model here. Um, you can see here the European model here. Let's take it a little bit closer to Houston here. You can see here max winds 101 miles per hour, likely underdoing it. But if you look at the wind gusts, however, it is much higher, about 145 mile per hour gusts there in a few areas uh, within the storm there. You can move on to 10 o'clock. You can see it's still intensifying. 120, that is, I believe, yeah, that's a Category 2 hurricane. Then eventually, it's predicting landfall about 3 o'clock at night. Seems like kind of weakens a little bit, but watch out for those wind gusts, however. You can see, wow, 183 mile per hour wind gusts. That's pretty impressive. See, even along the coast there, 120. I mean, that's some impressive wind gusts. Even pretty far inland there, that's still pretty significant. That's about as strong as the ratio up in that happened earlier this month, and it will likely die down fairly quickly here inland there, eventually coming down to about really tropical depression in Arkansas. And what's really getting my interest here is when it gets into Tennessee, Kentucky, which the part of this thing here is it's going to be kind of into a trough here. And it seems like it will intensify, but if you turn on wind gust here, even across some of these regions in there, on the last run, back on the 0Z run last night, it was showing wind gusts of 80 miles an hour across along the Kentucky Tennessee state line. So there could be some strong wind gusts out in some of those areas there. So the storm system may intensify just a little bit there. If we go back to the GFS here, it actually gets sucked into the storm here, which I could become a stronger storm there. And here's the GFS track with it very similar to the European model. You can see here, models are really starting to become a pretty good agreement on landfall here. Really anywhere from Houston, maybe Lake Charles, or even by Lafayette there. Really in this region here is where landfall could occur here as well. Nash Hurricanes there around 1 a.m. Thursday, yeah. Kind of around midnight there. It's looking to be your timing there. And again, there's this if we go to the next 5 days here. Talk about tons of rain here. Portions of Arkansas, 11 inches of rain there. Portions of Arkansas, 11 inches of rain there. And some areas could see up to a foot of rain there. You see even a couple other spots up here as well. 7 inches of rain. Looks like about 5.5 there. In the GFS model here, it's a little bit lower with this here. About 9 inches rain around Lake Charles. So there's going to be a lot of rain coming with this system here as well. Which I think it's about time that see what the recon plane is doing. We'll see where the recon plane. Oh, it's entering the storm here. All right, let's see what we got here. So this is in knots. Uh, this is in pressure right here. Seems like the lowest pressure is at, it looks like 987.9 millibars here. And that's the past 10 minutes there. Here's the recon plane here, actually about to enter the circulation again. You can see a lot of purple shades in there. That's above between 64 and 83 knots there. So definitely some pretty strong winds going on into the storm here, which they're about to enter the eye of the storm right now, the center. So pressure is definitely dropping here. 987 millibars, which the lowest was 984. We'll see if it gets any lower than that. And again, if you guys do have any questions, you can go ahead and take a look at that into chat. Whoops, my phone just dropped. Oh man, my phone's been dropped so many times today. Alright, there we go. Oh man. So, recon plane. Okay, looks like it just passed the center of the storm here. Let's see how low of pressure it got. Whoops, we backed up a little bit too far, haven't we? See if we can load this in. Here's high resolution, your infrared satellite there. Let's see if we could get any lower pressure here. Looks like we did get lower pressure here. 983 millibar. No, it's actually 900. Wait. So they just got pressure of about 982 millibars. So that's 2 millibars lower here. So basically, they just went for the center, which is about right here. So, yeah. On that, so that. So 982 millibars. So it's definitely really bringing it down. So they just left the center of the storm. They're actually still kind of in the center of the storm right now. So 982 millibars is the lowest pressure ever recorded from this storm for right now. So I may drop 2 millibars in about I don't know 20 minutes. I I don't know how long it's been since they did the first pass because I didn't really get here in time. When I first take a look at it, they were all the way down here. So I'm suspecting in about half an hour that it dropped 2 millibars. So that means in per hour, it might be dropping 4 millibars per hour. Now, I probably be wrong on that, but that could be what is going on there in the pressure here. Let's see if anybody on Twitter is saying anything about it. Levi Cohen's the one to ask on here. It's the best person I know on here. So, doesn't look like nobody's talking about it as of right now. So, but 982 millibars is your official number here. So, let's actually see how strong the winds are. Uh, Again, between 64 and 83 knots here. So, so if it was about as high as 83 knots, if we take a look to that, that's about 96 miles an hour. So, probably intensified to 90 miles an hour, probably 90 and 90 is probably the winds right now. So they just went through the center of the storm. They're about to get into the southwest side of the storm, and we've recorded 982 millibars. So even though the exact number is, uh, man, I actually forgot the exact. We miss it here. So your lowest point was 981.7 millibars. So that's the lowest pressure that we recorded so far with this system here. So yeah, we're gonna see how the southwest end of the storm, see how strong its winds are. So the strongest is the winds is on the northern and northeastern side of the storm currently. So, and I believe the next advisory is at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Um, at least I believe so. So yeah, on that you can see here, past number two and Laura slightly missed the winds there to the north, but yeah, 1.7 millibars per hour since the first pass. So about so it's dropping 2 millibars per hour, and the eye is also pretty large. Yeah, definitely a good point. The eye is actually pretty large there. Yeah, on that. So yeah, 982 millibars. So it's dropping for pretty much about 2 millibars per hour. So yeah, I was wrong on that for what I just said earlier, but 2 millibars per hour, that's kind of quick there. So and it could drop a little bit faster over time since it will get it. That was a voice crack. That was bad. Um, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the environment will be a little bit favorable. It was dealing a little bit of wind shear, but the storm was able to survive for the wind shear, and actually, the wind shear actually didn't do much of anything to the wind shear. You see, the eye is not becoming that visible because of all this convection here that's kind of in the way. Let's see if we can get a better view. Let's take a look at here. It's going to take a moment to load here. Let's actually go back to the hurricane models here. You can see current storm information with this for though. Tropical Tempest has been slow for the past quite a few days now because of traffic. What I mean by traffic is there's been so many people joining on Tropical Tempest in the same time. It's just not really keeping it up that well, so we expect it to be pretty slow. Alright, let's see if the malls have been updated to 0Z. Not quite just yet. About around, probably in about half an hour, it'll update to 0Z, which I'm sure about right about now, the Hermo is probably updating as well. So here's the GFS ensembles here, kind of a little bit further south up here. You can see there's a really good agreement of where it's going. So yeah, really good agreement on the models here. It's a GFS parallel. Actually, one of the models is showing that purple there between 940 and 950 millibars, but the average is 973, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be lower, a little bit closer to landfall there. So yeah, we'll have the next advisory about the National Hurricane Center by 11 o'clock, which we're probably not going to wait that long for that. Uh, we're just, I think we're just going to wait on at this point here is the hurricane models to update. Well, I'm really interested in the intensity. Also, one thing that's kind of ridiculous that a couple of models are bringing it back to major hurricane over in Atlantic, which is kind of ridiculous. So you see where they're going here when they go back to the northern Atlantic there. So yeah, and again, main threats with this system here, gusty winds, strong winds. There could be a few tornadoes out there as well. A lot of rain as well. So definitely something we need to watch here, guys. And I'll say I'm gonna guess landfall. Now it's just gonna be a guess here. I'm gonna guess landfall is gonna be by Port Arthur. That's where I'm thinking about the direct hit in Beaumont too. May as well just go ahead and take a guess on it. May as well. We'll see if I get it right. That'll be my final guess for where landfall is going to be. Oh yeah, they did actually miss the center too. They actually missed the center. Yeah, they did. They actually missed the center. They may go back over it again on their way back. I believe their air base or something. It's like up in Louisiana, I believe. Yeah, the center of storm's right over here. They actually missed it, so that means the pressure is probably lower than 982. So actually maybe more like 981 and maybe 980 or lower. So that's going to be, I'm sure they're going to turn around at some point here. We're just going to have to see here. I'm sure they may turn around. But they did find pressure though. They did find some uh, definitely some low pressure there as well than what they first recorded. So definitely a pretty good indication strengthening and maybe even rapidly intensifying. So I'll say at this point, so we actually got it updated here. Your center is about right in here. So right in there is your kind of your center right there, which is about taken over by high clouds there, by thunderstorms and convection. Yeah, on that. Oh man. Yeah, we're just waiting at this point here to see if we can. Yeah, definitely look like a pretty good hurricane, but we made this live stream here short. I don't think I forgot anything else on here, so really all we're just waiting on is just an update from the hurricane models. And we actually did get an update by the hurricane model. So here's the intensity update here for 0Z. You got two models that are low in category 4, which that's what I'm forecasting. We're actually starting to get more models to the category 3 range as well. And here's the track here. Basically no change to the track. What's also kind of funny, at least for me, is that there's a really good agreement that the hurricane models is showing it's going to pass over my house in Kentucky. Right in here. So I could get a direct hit from Laura, believe back on Saturday. So it should be very interesting. The only part I'm going to be kind of afraid of is the tornado threat. I mean, some also been any tornado type activity, which, yeah, that's actually what I kind of forgot about. So let's go over here, which I think the accurate model, I believe, is the HWRF model. Marco is actually gone now as well. So that's good news there. That is this. If Marco was still around, it will definitely disrupt Laura. So, right now it's just waiting for chocolate tidbits to load since there's a lot of traffic on here going on. So yeah, so that's an update from the hurricane models there. Let's take a look at this one here. So about 6 hours. So 0Z, which is let's see, recon plane. Yeah, pretty close. So it did enter there about around 0Z. So basically, of how her model's doing, it's actually doing okay. It's actually underdoing the pressure because the recon plane recorded 982 millibars, but they did miss the center, so it could be lower than that. So that's not a good thing at all. So that means this model here actually may underdo it, but you can see here it definitely rapidly intensifies later on the day tomorrow on Wednesday. It's gonna take a little bit to load here. 949 millibars. Pretty much getting close to category 5 at this point here, although we'll take a look into the winds in a little bit with this system. You can see it actually makes landfall actually a little bit further east, actually east of the Texas and Louisiana state line. Actually, Houston and Galveston is over here. It actually makes a direct hit at Lake Charles there. You can see it continues north. I mean, a lot of rain with this here. So definitely some flash flooding could occur, especially across the two portions of Arkansas. And we're going to skip a few hours there since they didn't load in correctly. See, it's like kind of sticks around a while, and it's actually under. Seems like it may be a little bit stronger here than the last run, with pressure-wise on land here. You actually see here probably a better tornado threat potential will be along this line here, and that's an area to really watch for. That's actually crossing around that time, 21Z on Friday. That's actually late afternoon. Yeah, you can see here pre storms really explode with the daytime heating there. See, and then it just passes me to the south, but looks like I could see quite a bit of rain, decent amount of rain, but definitely gotta watch for a tornado spread, especially on this day here where there's gonna be some daytime heating, instability as well. So that'd be definitely a day to watch here. Saturday into Saturday night, actually Friday into Saturday there. Definitely gotta watch for the tornado threat. And you can see, and then it goes through the mountains there. Could be another tornado threat, maybe for the Carolinas there. So definitely someone we're gonna watch for there. But again, with this model here, it's actually kind of underdoing uh, the pressure right now. So that's not a good sign. So that means that Laura could be stronger than what this model here is showing. So, but on the 0Z run, we'll probably get a little better idea on it. Um, I don't think we got wins on this, so. Well, this is kind of close. So let's load this in here. So this is in knots here, which I do have this thing right here. So if you don't know what in miles per hour is like I do, we got it right there. And we're going to wait for this here to load. If anybody's got any questions again, you could put in the chat there. Thirsty. All right. All right. Just waiting for this to load here. There's visible satellite again. Let it update a little bit. So it seems like there's a little bit of dry air. Try to get into it though. Okay, seems like it's not wanting to load now. On there, you can see here in the purple there. Looks like probably about 70 knots there. Reload, I think it's 9 o'clock update in the satellite imagery. So you're telling me that the National Hurricane Center did update? Here, let's see. We gotta go back, go back, go back. Here was refreshing. So Laura, 85. No. Well, it seems like it did update earlier. 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So it did update about 47 minutes ago. How long has this live stream been going, by the way? I actually can't tell where it is. Can it get the Euro Hurricane model in Tibbets? Um, one way, yeah, you can't get Hurricane model. You actually have to go on a paid website for it. Let's go back here. So that's 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. Let's see here. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's 8 o'clock. So it did update 48 minutes ago. I'm wondering what the intensity is. It doesn't show it down here. I wish I had, knots or miles per hour in their forecast like this as well. What kind of storm chances do you see for Northwest Georgia? Northwest Georgia, I think it's pretty low chance. I think it will miss you guys to the north. Uh, Mark Duck 427. I don't think it won't affect Northwest Georgia. I think it'll miss you guys to the north. Although with this cone here, if it does go down to Tennessee, the center low, which is kind of looking unlikely this time, you guys may get to see some effects of it. So yeah, on that, chances for DC. I'll say the storm system will get to DC. I'll say the primary for it is just going to be a lot of rain. I think you guys could see a decent amount of rain at DC. Winds may be a little gusty at times. If we look into the European model on windy here, that's why I use the Euro for. So on the European model here. So let's get to Saturday for DC. Uh, you can see there's things like gets to DC by Saturday night there. You can see your center low. It actually may miss to the south of DC. If we look to rain in the next 10 days there, not a whole lot of rain to talk about here, but I'll say you guys will see some rain, but the effects are not major at all. How strong is the Atlantic Carolina high pressure system looking as this year? So far, the one talking about that for the models have been to the west. Like around Houston, the high pressure has was strong in our models, but the models that's been shown far to the west, like the European ensembles, it's actually too strong of what it currently it is. Like right now, it's a little bit weaker than what some of the models are showing. So I think it'll be just weak enough for impact to be somewhere around the Texas and Louisiana border. So I don't think it won't be really that strong of a high pressure system there as well. Check the wind. It shows a little eye up in Little Rock. I honestly don't know what you talk about anymore. And I up in Little Rock. I don't know what you talk about, man. Oh, on windy. Are you talking about this right here? Um, you can actually see here. It's actually indicating wind 61 mile per hour gusts there, 10 a.m. there in Little Rock. So that's pretty decently strong there. Let's actually take a look at Beaumont here. Oh my gosh, 148. Man. The wind model, this is the European model. I honestly don't know what you're talking about here, but anyways, here. We got some more layers here. For wind. So, let's see here. Let's actually look to your GFS. That's something I didn't show yet. It's the winds from the GFS. You can actually see here just right before landfall here, likely underdoing it. 62 mile per hour winds. You can see by the wind gust, about 90 miles an hour there. I think rapid intensification is soon to set in because the infrared satellite showing some strong storms climbing high above the system and wrapping completely around, some even covering out. Yeah, I highly agree. It's likely starting to get to the stage of some rapid intensification. That's something we do expect um, there as well. Definitely something really need to watch for. But yeah, on that, see if we got an update on the recon here. See if we got anything from the recon plane here. And again, if you guys do have any more questions, you can put it in the chat there. You could feel free to do so. We may have to take off a few tabs. We'll take off that tab. Visible infrared satellites not working right. So right now your plane is on the far uh, southwest side right now. I think it's going to turn around. It's going to eventually turn north soon. But you can see here some strong winds there. Not really much of any strong winds on the southwest side of the system though, but some of the strongest of the winds definitely for sure is on the northeast side. And again, we did have a report of pressure from the recon plane of 982 millibars, but they just missed the center to southeast, so it could be lower, maybe more like 980 millibars. So definitely something we really need to keep an eye on. Uh, what's the most recent winds on the wall? I'm thinking talk about the wall. Looks to be about. If we go back here, see if we can find it. Yeah, seems like about around 65 knots there around the eye wall here type of situation here, but a little bit more away the eye wall, it's definitely in between 64 knots and 83 knots, which I'm going to guess is probably, it's kind of hard to tell since I wish they kind of give the exact numbers, but with this graphic here you can't, but it's alright. But yeah, on that, I'm going to guess the highest wind they probably record up there is probably around 70 knots. If you put that into miles per hour, 70 knots is about 80 miles per hour. But if you look back to the National Hurricane Center, showing 85. So 75 knots, 85 miles an hour. So yeah, which I'm sure it's probably more of 83 knots, I'd imagine, though. I'm sure it's a little bit more closer to 83 knots. Just, I think, just for, being realistic, Like, this was back at 7 p.m. Central Time, 85 miles per hour. I'm sure at this point here it's probably at 90 to 95 miles per hour, especially how rapidly intensifying it is right now. Right, right now. Man, I can't even speak that. I don't know why. But yeah, we're going to see if they're going to turn north again. I think they will eventually. They may have another. They're probably going to try it again to get to the center since they missed it, missed the eye. So yeah. What does the mall say for it? Like the wind malls and tropical tidbits. I'm guessing you're talking about Little Rock. I mean, the European model, like I said on Little Rock here. I mean, let's just go for the European model. Like I said, around Little Rock there. Move on to Friday here. I mean, this is wind gust here. Wind gust 70 miles per hour, but sustained winds is much lower. to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. I mean, if I click onto Little Rock here, you can see here 61 mile per hour wind gusts around 10 a.m. on Friday. So yeah, on that. So that's what's looking to be right now. If we go back to my forecast, since I've got some new viewers in here, we'll take a look to rainfall first. And again, in earlier the stream, this was made earlier today, so haven't updated this yet, which I do plan on to do it probably either tonight. Although I could probably do in the stream if you guys uh want me to. It'll probably take some time, but yeah, on that. But you can see what I'm forecasting for right now: eight to 8 to a foot of rain across portions of Beaumont, Lake Charles up to Shreveport. Then 5 to 8 inches to kind of close to Little Rock there, but I think about expanding to 5 to 8 inches to the northeast into kind of around Paducah, Kentucky, right here. So like southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, southwestern Kentucky, northwestern Tennessee, and northeastern Arkansas as well. Because when you have a turn, something like that, some of those storms can stick around a little bit longer, so you can get some higher rainfall amounts, like it's showing on by the Weather Prediction Center here. They're even indicating some areas may be able to see 9 inches of rain, which is a lot of rain, forecasted from the by the Prediction Center there. Uh, so yeah, and then you have your 3 to 5 inch range extended into central Kentucky as well. I may expand that maybe as well. And then here's my intensity forecast. Same way update. I made this, but earlier today, but I didn't have time to update this. So yeah, these times are all in Central Time. Keep in mind that all these are in Central Time. Currently, it's actually 85 miles per hour, not 75 miles an hour. It's around in this area here at this point here, Tuesday 8 o'clock, which I got seems like I nailed the timing on that. Um, you can see on my forecast here, Wednesday 8 a.m. Central Time, Category 2 of 100 mile per hour winds. Wednesday 8 p.m. Category 3, 120 mile per hour winds. Then at landfall, that's supposed to be a Category 4 with 130 mile per hour winds at landfall around kind of close to midnight, Thursday 1 a.m. Category 2, Thursday a.m. about 100 miles per hour. Although I'm probably going to have to downgrade these just a little bit here, but Thursday 8 p.m. tropical storm 70 miles per hour. Friday 8 a.m. tropical storm 40 miles per hour. Slowly dying down. Tropical depression 35 miles per hour at Friday 8 a.m. across western Kentucky, western Tennessee, southern Illinois. Then eventually around Saturday 8 a.m. To the mountains there in the Appalachian Mountains. Tropical depression 30 miles per hour. Then uh, tropical depression 30 miles per hour Saturday 8 p.m., which eventually gets to the mid-Atlantic states, and then eventually getting out in the Atlantic, and even still sticking around into portions of the Northeast post tropical depression 35 miles per hour by Sunday 8 a.m. And that's my forecast right there, which I'm probably going to have to update this onto my assist just a little bit here, just mainly the intensity here. So, and again, this is not the National Hurricane Center forecast on here as well with that. So let's try to get a satellite here again. And Laura's trying to form an eye right now. We have a lot of convection on the west side of Laura. There's even been some lightning on the west side, which indicates of intensification, typically. And I don't think this is working, to be honest. It's working, but it's just very slow. Definitely slower than earlier. I think when I first loaded this before the live stream here, which is not that long ago, it probably took about, I'll say about 2 minutes, and I'm guessing this is probably going to take about 5 minutes. So, but this is due to again a lot of people using tropical tidbits at once, so the website's not able, can't really handle that well with that much people, but it's not their fault, you know. So yeah, on that, we're gonna see if the recon plane is gonna turn around, which I think they're about to turn around to the north. Well, not turn around, but turn to the north. Let's see. Here, some water. Go to intensity guidance. I can show you the intensity guidance. Excuse me. Let's see. Current storm information. Yeah, everything's just loading very slow. Man, forget about that. Latest track appears as the cone has slightly shifted towards the west now, including East Houston. About the National Hurricane Center, is that what you're talking about, Sean? Um, Shows the models for estimated wind. You can actually see here the infrared satellite here. Got a lot of convection on the southwest side, starting to get wrapped around the center, which is about right here. And this is actually where some of the strongest winds is, where the wind recon plane went through. You can see with the intensity here, guidance here, you got a couple miles of category 4, which that's actually what I'm forecasting there. The models in category 1 and 2 are likely going to be underdoing this storm here. I mean, the hurricane models been doing pretty good on the on the tracks of these tropical systems, but they've been doing terrible with the intensity. I mean, it's just disappointing with these models here. Just been doing really bad so far this hurricane season. I mean, hurricane models been doing a good job on the tracks. It's just the thing is they've been doing terrible on the intensity. Most 105 to 115, yeah, on that, but they're likely to be underdoing it. Definitely underdoing the intensification of this storm here. So I'll say these models here, these two here, probably have a better chance of getting it right than these models right here. So just saying. Also, what's interesting to note here is when it stays on land here with Laura, uh, it actually a couple models are still keeping it around a tropical storm, which I highly doubt that's going to happen. But more, I'm going to guess if what's going on there is a trough is going to help the storm kind of gain a little bit of intensity again. That's why when it gets into Tennessee and Kentucky, it gains a little bit of strength, especially right in here, kind of near around Evansville. If you look to wind gusts with this, 65 miles an hour, and the highest I've seen was 80 mile per hour wind gust. So, and of how it's been pretty consistent, with wind gusts kind of in around that range, it's definitely worth mentioning and also worth watching here. So, that will be won't be good either. So, although the sustained winds is at about 30 miles per hour. So, yeah, on that there. After the convection wraps around, I think we'll be at Cat 2 and rapid intensification will definitely be imminent. Yeah, highly agree. The purple is 50% brown ocean effect. I think he might be talking about the oil rigs. I don't think that won't do much of anything with the oil rigs out there. Brown ocean effect. I feel like you're talking about the amount of oil rigs in this region here where it's going to be passing through. That's not good for the oil because that'll put the delay on production and that can make an effect on the United States economy there, which is not good. at all. I mean, you got so many oil rigs in this region right in here, so just not good at all there. So looks like they are turning to the southeast here. Well, they don't know where they're going. I think they may be trying to go. I think they're going to land somewhere. Uh, Gulf Coast rigs, about 50% evacuate. Yeah, yeah. People on those rigs definitely need to be evacuated because that's a really dangerous place to be in. With very strong winds. Yeah, that's definitely a place where you do not want to be in. I guess they're moving somewhere else. Just looking at east there. Make a Discord server? I don't know about Discord server. My channel is pretty small right now. I might think about it later down the road, but I don't know about making a Discord server right now. So maybe later down the road. We'll see. My channel is pretty small right now. So here's another way of looking into the Weather Prediction Center outlook here with rainfall. You can see here, good chunk of Arkansas, 6 to 10 inches of rain, which is, I mean, a lot of rain. I mean, if you get 10 inches of rain in portions of Arkansas, that's a pretty bad situation to be in because flooding will be likely in those regions. Another thing to notice, kind of around nearby Lake Charles there, they got a region of 10 to 15 inches, but I think it's probably, in reality, probably up to 11 inches, I would say. Down there, I don't think it'll reach up to 15 inches, but we'll see about that though. We'll see about that. And one of my biggest concerns is going to be the storm surge. The National Hurricane Center is forecasting between Seaman State Park to intracoastal city, 9 to 13 feet. Sabine Lake, and I'm not going to try that. Lake 9 to 13 feet, and that's pretty significant storm surge. And if it reaches to a Category 4 hurricane, storm surge could be a little bit higher, maybe approaching 15 feet, which is pretty significant there. Then between Port Boulevard and Sea Rim State Park, 6 to 9 feet. Vermilion Bay, 7 to 11 feet. That's still pretty bad. Then to Morgan City, yet again, 7 to 11 feet. Then between Morgan City and the mouth of the Mississippi River, 4 to 6 feet. Then between Lake Brunge, basically into Mississippi there, could see storm surge. Even though your landfall's going to be right over here, you're still going to get strong winds with this system here. Can definitely bring some storm surge into those regions in there. So, and also on the east side of the system there is where we also have the greatest tornado potential. Which let's actually take a look into that. We're actually going to go to College of DuPage here. We're going to take a look to the most ridiculous model out there. Warn you guys, it's going to be pretty ridiculous. And how ridiculous, you guys may be asking? Let's just go to the wind gust. So, and this model here has been getting laughed a lot on Weather Twitter here. You can see here, like 80 plus knots there. You can see at one point 128 knots. I mean, at one point this model was showing 150 knots, which is ridiculous. Seems like it's not going to give us the exact number, but that's not the point. The point is it's the tornado threat, so we'll take a look into the significant tornado parameters here. Really above a 1 is when you have a tornado threat. Now significant numbers will be kind of above a 3, so now expect these numbers here to be quite high, so just to warn you guys on it. You can see here you're getting some really above a 10 there. It's going to take a moment here. You can see here it definitely gets pretty favorable for tornadoes right about around at this point. Let's try to get a sounding here, which we're not getting an accurate reading. Here we go. 16.1. Take a look at the sounding. Let's take a look to a sounding here. It's going to be quite ridiculous. Yep, it sure is quite ridiculous. That's ridiculous there. It's so bad that you can't even see the photograph itself. I mean, the lines here, it's just off the chart. Now, on the last run here, it was showing PDS tornado icons across portions of Illinois. Now, by the NAM-NEST model, I think, well, let's get a little better one here, actually, on land here. The part that's not realistic about this model here is it stays stationary into across some of these regions in here. It kind of dies out there, which I don't think it's realistic at all. Let's take a look at the NAM here. See what it's showing for severe weather potential. You can actually see here it actually makes landfall pretty close to the Galveston area there. And take a look to significant tornado parameters. Not as high as the NAM-NEST. NAM-NEST is the high res. It's the same model for like 9 and 3 km. NAM high res, it's the same thing. Yeah, PDS tornado icon here. Yeah, definitely quite a setup here for potential tornado. 4,000 Cape? Really? That's not right. 4,000 Cape, there's no way. There's going to be 4,000 Cape right there. There's no way. But yeah, you can see even the tornado threat does continue to, eastern Texas, even to portions of Arkansas here, which we'll get another sounding here as well. Which that's a decent holograph there. That is supported for probably at least for a brief spin of tornadoes right there. You got a little bit of wind shear to work with there as well. You do have some instability going on there, so definitely a little bit favorable environment for some brief tornadoes out there as well. So I think that's gonna be pretty much it, guys. I think we're gonna end it here. You guys want to give me any more questions on anything here before I end the live stream here? Because I don't think I have much anything else to talk about here. Which I do have chat on my phone here, so I'm able to see everything here. Estimated damage and will probably retire. It could retire. It might retire. Who knows? I don't know. It just depends of what's gonna do here. I mean, that's the National Hurricane Center's decision there for retirement. Now, estimated damage is probably going to be high. Can't really get an estimation on that. So I'll say it's likely going to be high. The recon plane is starting to turn around, though, to a little bit more to the northwest here as well. Probably trying to get back towards the storm here. They may try to go for the center of the storm again. But we'll find out later tonight. I do believe the National Hurricane Center will get another advisory out by 11 o'clock tonight. That also, in that same advisory, they'll update the cone, the intensity, and pretty much everything. Some advisories, they don't update that. They kind of give an update on the storm, the status, and probably the intensity, and also the location. That's what I've learned about today. There are certain advisories that update just only for the intensity storm and the location. There's some that do, uh, the cone, update the cone and the intensity forecast, and update both there as well. It seems you guys don't have any more questions there, but anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hopefully, you guys enjoy my live update on Hurricane Laura. If you guys did like this update, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications so you're never miss an upload. If you guys got questions about this, watching this as a video, you can put it in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Probably will make another